get quite interesting because on one side of the stage you have 100 Thieves who, you know, they started off the week very well, beating Reciprocity. It was a rematch that we saw at Fort Worth. On the other side, you know, you have Gen G who are having a great week, but 100 Thieves yesterday, they go to that Game 5 versus Midnight, drop that series.
I talked to Slash a little bit before this. I was like, what the hell went wrong? He's like, dude, we had 2 people fall off the map on payload. He's like, my league play teammates don't even do that. And I was like, what was going on? I was like, I don't know. It's like it felt like we were drunk. Like we just weren't making the wrong plays. People were on the same page. Like basically just felt like they were out of it. Like they just weren't clicking. And that can happen from time to time. But you expect them to rebound today. That's for sure.
Well, I wouldn't say it's inexcusable, right, to like have a bad league day match. Like it's gonna happen. And there's gonna be matches when you come in and, you know, that hype isn't behind the match. Like, going into it, I don't think you would ask anyone, maybe besides the Midnight players and the fan base of that they have, besides them, everyone was picking 100 Thieves.
I think that was a trap game for 100 Thieves, absolutely. They went in expecting, I think, to maybe roll over them a little bit. Maybe not as, I don't want to say they didn't prep as much, but just like mentally prepared. Like you just don't go in with the same mindset that maybe you need to take a match like that. And then for Gen G, I think the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is going to be that game 2 between these 2 teams. Because even though we saw Gen G slip up a little bit at Fort Worth, they still remain perfect in search and destroy in the Pro League. So there they've been lights out. That could be a big map between these squads. But for Gen G, they're still that team that's, I guess you say kind of one of the top teams, absolutely. Are they a favorite to win a tournament? Maybe not, but do they have the potential to do so? I think they're right on the cusp of that.
Yeah, you talk about Search and Destroy. I'm actually really excited for the hard points because Gen G yesterday, they're able to beat Splice in both of those hard points. And I feel like when you talk to a lot of teams when it comes to sort of practice, these are 2 of the better hard point teams, especially on the 100 Thieves side where they've shown so much dominance, you know, since they've added Priesta.
And yeah, for Gen G, I think that's where we saw them really improve at Fort Worth, right? When you add Envoy, he comes in, maybe a little added slaying power. Their respawn is what really got the bump. It was their search that maybe took a backseat over that weekend. But here we go. It's frequency to kick things off. Priesta getting right into the mix, sliding by 1, but will get dropped almost instantly. We'll see who comes out on top of the trade battle as it's fast and frantic here at the opening hardpoint.
Yeah, just Slasher and Octane the last couple left alongside Mox. Mox almost got around that corner, just 1 bullet left, and a good start for 100 Thieves. And we'll see now how Gen G can try to break on, and you see Envoy on your screen, just playing under window, trying to play a little bit sneaky, but it feels like Octane, he knows something's up.
And we know how good 100 Thieves have been in respawn, really kind of before Fort Worth with the addition of Priesta. You talked about that, but I don't think you mentioned the stat. I think we got this from JP right before this about Kenny. He's the guy to watch because when he's going even or positive in respawn, they're 25-3 in respawn, which is it all on him? No, absolutely not. But it's just one of those kind of wild X factor stats. Like he does well, you win respawn.
Well, and I would say even since Fort Worth, he was incredible there, but it's really been him and Octane. Like I know that we've talked a ton about Priesta, and he's helped really evolve their game, but 2 players that I think have just improved and really is the reason for their respawn success is Kenny and Octane. And that's not even, we haven't even touched on Slasher, right? Like Slasher's on this roster. We haven't even seen the best from him yet.
He's just like a constant force. You just know what you're going to get from him. And well, early it's going to be streaks, but I was actually in their coach's stream, Crowder, earlier today, and he answered some questions before he goes off. And one of the questions was, some of the guys said, what's wrong with Kenny this year? And he's like, what have you been watching over the last month? Like,
hello?
We talking a couple months back, because Kenny's been nuts. It's just, yeah, it's been interesting to see him certainly push to getting back into that incredible form we saw him last year. But currently, it's a 25-point advantage for 100 Thieves as they continue to lock down Orange base. There's just over 15 seconds remaining in the hard point, and they've done a good job of not only giving the time, but getting Gen G set up in the back so they'll be able to rotate the next.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. All of Gen G spawning towards Old. Yeah, Slasher and Kenny inside elevator just trying to cut off the rotation. This nade could be big. But at least help him trade, but it was actually Envoy who took down his teammate, and it helps him trade the wrong way as he blows himself up.
Yeah, right when you said it, you go, this could work out great. I was like, he's walking on it. He's getting closer to it. He's directly on top of it now.
You still had Enable, though, who was very far pushed up, but it's the Sog duo of Havoc and Envoy able to break on through.
And they've already got control of that outer balcony, so this is not going to be easy points for 100 Thieves. They're going to have to fight off the contest first and foremost, kind of win this over the course of 2 waves. They've knocked out a lot of these players, but you still have a presence from Envoy who's making plays despite the fact he wasn't able to pop off the heel. Finally gets it in, and he's still going to come in for him. Havoc then there for a trade, and they'll get the time, and now spawning out at Pipes will be 100 Thieves. This is a good hard point for Gen G considering the early control from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, the scary thing for them, though, you go towards Pipes, that's when Slasher streaks, that's when they can come into play, and he's still hanging on to both of them, hasn't invested into one. And I mean, he's 15-5 right now. That's the scary part about 100 Thieves. They just have so many weapons who can take over at any point.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of teams you'll mention, like, yeah, there's a guy or two you could highlight. Like, they have the ability to drop 30, 40 kills, 6,000 to 8,000 damage and take over, but yeah, it's literally 5 that have the potential to do that anytime in a respawn.
And look at that, Slasher got his War Machine so early. Gen.G wasn't ready for it, but it doesn't matter. They're able to find all those kills, and now they're gonna force the lightning strike to come out. Force them down low between those ladders. Priest had tried to catch one, now it's Enable, but they lose both the gunfights. But again, it's Slasher who's able to find 3 kills with that lightning strike in the Maddox.
Yeah, you've used all of this, and you still haven't really got any time at pipes. Maybe Slasher just has to do it all. He's used his War Machine, used the lightning, now got 4 in a row before he finally falls, and they'll get the final 20 or so seconds, so at least you don't come up empty after using some of those heavy hitter utilities. But I think if you're Gen.G, considering the hot start from Slasher, you still feel all right. You're very much in this game.
Yeah, I mean, these 20, 30 points really are the first hill. Besides that, you've done well, because that's the first hill. It is where Slasher does hit those streaks, plus you've won this rotation. TAC 5 is coming in now for Gen.G. They're just trying to lock this down. Trying to see if Priest is close to Grab Slam. Almost there. That's one that we typically see used to break this first hard point. But all the kills right now going the way of Gen.G.
Havoc's POV right now as he continues to slip and slide. Such a force to deal with when it's up close in personal combat. He's got some of the best movement in the game, and this is a great spot on the map to showcase that. Grapple available, Grab Slam as well, but he's not going to need it for now.
Slasher again, he blew himself up. I don't know what's going on.
Is that back-to-back clusters where he kills himself?
Yeah, that's that. I mean, he's having a great game.
For those at home, if you're working to get better with your cluster grenades.
Yeah, a little tip for you.
Don't throw them and run on them.
Yeah, no, they will blow you up.
They'll die.
Yeah, exactly, as you can see here. But Nagafin 90 points away. Priest, though, on that rotation. Can he just finish the kill?
It's just
trying to stay alive.
It's just funny, though, considering the conversation I had with him before this. So he's like, oh, we have 2 people fall off the map. Like, my lead play teammates don't do that. He kills himself in 2 clusters.
His lead play teammates probably do that. So that's the difference right there.
Well, let's see if Nagafin can get the streaks. He's so close to picking him up. Somebody had to maybe pick it up to combat what Slasher has been doing, but as he's trying to do it, Priesta comes in with the Grab Slam. That's going to kill him. Okay, he does get the lightning, but no Hellstorm. So a big Grab Slam in, but Gen.G have now taken control after kind of flipping the switch on Elevator.
In the 100 Thieves didn't know that 2 players spawned back there. They thought it was just one. Major Maniac and Mox just stayed alive towards the back. Slasher able to find one, but this is set up a pinch. Now there's just 1 player left in the spawns. Just coming some good timing for Gen.G, and the fact that, hey, we're going to spawn up back there. We're not going to push. We're going to play our lives. And the guys at the front set up the pinch. A great play out of Gen.G, which leads to about 20 more seconds for them.
And we mentioned right as this started kind of that wild stat about Kenny when he's going even or positive. And right now, he's the guy really that needs to turn it around the map. He's 9-17, sitting around double negative. We'll see if we can pick it up, or if he can pick it up as we get later into this game. But let's shift focus now over to blue. Nagafin in the hard point. A bit of a pinch opportunity developing, though, for 100 Thieves as they have 2 in the back and 3 hitting out towards elbow and balcony. 4 go down there for Gen.G. That will be exactly the break they need. And 100 Thieves, that's a big one because it was starting to get out of control. Gen.G had a couple, they chain Elevator into orange. They're starting to take a nice lead. 100 Thieves really needed this time.
Yeah, that was one of those brace where if it does come through for Gen.G and they pick up to 20 to 30 seconds, the game is pretty far from there. But Havoc able to fly on in with the Grab Slam, finds 3. Nagafin does use the Lightning Strike, so 100 Thieves won't have to worry about that if we do go to pipes or when we go to pipes. But these last 15 seconds, at least 100 Thieves, even with all that invested, they still hang on, so you're feeling pretty good.
Well, nice movement there, and a couple of nice kills behind the melee and the RK7 for Mox. Now we'll go over to Major Maniac's POV. War Machine out. Who's going to have flak? It doesn't look like anybody's got it, and he's got 1 looking over him. Needs the direct contact. Maybe he doesn't. Havoc, his Guardian Angel, finds 2 as they push up. 4 go down for 100 Thieves, and this is perfect setup and control of pipes for Gen.G.
And that's something that we talk about. You just have to be ready for the War Machine. And, I've seen a couple of discussions of, like, players shouldn't use it right away. They should try to throw the timings off just depending on when you get it, right? So the team that maybe thinks you invested it, right? Like maybe they don't know if they accidentally killed you with a streak, yada, yada, yada. So the timings are a little bit off. But Slasher does have his. So I just feel like he should have been like, hey, I have a second War Machine. Envoy might have his as well.
Watching Kenny will swap over to Enable. Now, Elevator's been the one that's probably been pretty 50-50, right? Really good from 100 Thieves early. Gen G the second time around. Havoc and company destroyed, and this is really where the comeback and the swing came in for Gen G. And they've got a nice setup this time as well. You have Mock sitting in top window, exactly who you want from that position. The remaining 4 inside, but now it's Slasher's turn with the War Machine. 2 kills come through, make it 3. There's the clear. Havoc last up, and now he's got to try and finesse his way back to mid-map.
This is big time for 100 Thieves. I'm trying to just take a look, and there's no specialists on the side of Gen G. Slasher doing it all right now, 35 and 19. A great game one for him, but you know it's one of those games where after, if they do lose this, he's just sort of sitting there like, what happened? Because I'm going off. What's going on between the rest of us?
But he got production out of that second War Machine, that's for sure. Maybe another thing due to timings, like you said, like he's having such a monster game that you see him able to earn that.
Nagofin's just playing sneaky on this rotation. The problem is all his teammates are going to go down, and now you see number 10 and number 6, they turn around. That's Slasher and Octane just trying to hunt him down. The melee does come through. There should be a trade, and it's going to be from Slasher as Enable finds a couple of kills, so the rotation should go the way of 100 Thieves as Enable starting to heat on up, and he has the Purifier. This is what they need. He's on a 5 spree.
Lead change about to go the way of 100 Thieves. He's just going to go pull it out. Flak Jacket though in. Trying to stay up. The help from the teammates come in. Now 45 up and another grab slam in from Priesta. He's gotten 5 kills from his 2 uses over the course of this game. And now 45 more points needed for 100 Thieves. This is a big push in break for Gen G. The problem though, you've got to go up against Attack 5. Attack 5 is not going to matter though. When you have the lightning strike hitting, 4 are going to drop. One's going to spawn in the back.
Kenny.
A split spot comes on the other side, but Kenny goes huge in the hard point.
Yeah, I mean, they had an opportunity behind that lightning strike that Mox has, but the problem is it ended up connecting on one of their players, resulting in a team kill. Now Priesta, he's got some streaks as well. So you have Enable with the lightning. You have a couple more on Priesta, which will at least allow them to get in towards this blue base. But it just feels like ever since Elevator, it's been all 100 Thieves in the kill feed.
Yeah, and even if somehow Gen G get an early break into blue, when it gets to pipes, there's going to be so much left over for 100 Thieves, more than likely to be able to use, but we even get to that point. But look, 3 are going to spawn in the back. Slasher, though, able to pick it up. Nice shots, help from Priesta. What a game from 100 Thieves, and what a map from Slasher. I mean, dude, he had the same progression towards his next one, but he was working on his 3rd, and it was Major Maniac working on his 2nd. Like, I mean, I know he's doubling his kills, so that makes sense, but it still looks absurd when you think about it, just when it comes to the specialist weapons. What a big deal it is for your heavy hitters like the War Machine to go off like that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And you can just tell sort of Gen G a little bit caught off by it. Sometimes when you're hot, you can catch off that enemy team, but it was a bit of a slow game one, I think, for the rest of 100 Thieves. But ever since that blue base, right, when it was like maybe Gen G could run away with it, we go to pipes, it was all 100 Thieves after that point. But Enable, I mean, inside Elevator, he was on a 5 spree, and he knew if I can bring out the Purifier, they have to run towards me. He has some help from Priesta, but a great job on that rotation.
Well, I mean, it was a Slasher show for most of the game, but then, you know, you and I kind of calling out big play from Kenny in the hard point at Orange. Priesta goes off to get streaks. Enable's a monster at Elevator, and Octane, you know, the turret we know and love, just setting up with the ICR, but everybody had a moment down the stretch.
Yeah, this is that play, though. So Mox actually gets Havoc. So as soon as Mox goes down...
So I called he got 4, so it was 3. I didn't realize.
And basically, because he goes down, the spawns don't flip because Kenny wins that gunfight. So then they're getting the scrap time and then on rotation. Slasher and Priesta, just a dynamic duo. You're going to see all the white arrows spawn on that right side of your minimap. That's exactly what 100 Thieves wanted, as Octane and Slasher get 4.
Yeah, and Octane with a big kill kind of in transition, and make sure Balcony is set up for them to get the closing moments of this hardpoint. But before we got into it, Jess did have a chance to talk to Kenny. Curious to hear his thoughts.
Thank you, Clint. Yeah, and Kenny said that he's feeling good. 100 Thieves, he feels like are in a really good spot. And indeed, I could tell they were definitely in good spirits. He said that the loss to Midnight yesterday, he called it an anomaly, saying we don't play like we normally have been playing and like we normally do. So he's not really letting it get them down. And he says that it's all about the S&D for this series. He thinks that whoever wins the S&Ds here, whoever wins the first S&D in particular, has the capability to just come in and win the rest of the series. From Gen G, I spoke to Nagafen, and he also thinks that things are pretty good. He said that their